Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am making Venerschnitzel, or the southern way of doing it. Today you're going to need pork chops. I usually try to buy, like, when the pork loin is on sale. As you can see, I got this for $2.99 a pound. So I got this for $11 versus $25, and it is cheaper than buying, the pork tenderloin pork chops. So I get this. I'll probably use half of this and save half of it. I don't usually get it cut up because I like cutting it kind of thick for me. You're going to need flour. You're going to need lemon juice. You're going to need cornflakes, garlic, salt, pepper, and eggs. I'm going to get this cut up. I'm going to get everything where it needs to be, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my pork chops cut up, or as many as I wanted. The recipe calls for veal. I had an aunt from Germany and who taught me how to do this when I was probably about 12, 13 years old. She said they use pork because veal, as it is now, is more expensive than pork. She would beat them and kind of make them thin, and she'd do both sides. I like to keep mine a little thick because I like the juiciness. I like them to stay nice and juicy in the middle and not dry out. But you can do it this way. Once you've got that done, you're going to sprinkle with salt, pepper. I'm just going to do like one just to kind of show you a little bit. And I put in the egg wash here, I put like one good squirt of lemon juice. And then you're going to take it and you're going to cover it in cornflakes. And again, I know that if you look up a recipe for Venerschnitzels, the German, they use like breadcrumbs on veal. But again, she said this was the way they did it. They were, poor growing up. And they used cornflakes. It was something they could easily get. And they could also get pork more than they could the veal. So I'm going to get this. Make sure your grease is very hot before you put it in here. I'm going to get all these battered up. And I'm going to put them in. And I will be right back. Okay, so my grease is nice and hot. Make sure that they're all coated. I used about a fourth of a box of cornflakes, and it doesn't matter what brand, just regular cornflakes, and about a half a cup of flour. The flour is just to kind of help it kind of stick a little bit better. And then once it's good and hot, I got this grease on high. You're just going to set them in there. Don't overcrowd your pan. I usually kind of do 3 at a time. So you just let these fry. They are pork. You're going to have to kind of watch them when it starts to brown. You're going to need to flip them. I usually want to flip them probably 2 or 3 times before they're good and cooked all the way through. Again, I don't use the meat cleaver and tenderizer, and get them real thin so they're decent thickness on the pork. So it takes, it probably takes about 10-15 minutes or so. I'll kind of time it and come back because I'm not really sure and I don't want to, tell y'all wrong. So I'm going to pause this, get these few cooked, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did flip. It's been 3 minutes. So 3 minutes, flip them. You see how that's gotten browned. So once the grease is really hot, you do want to turn it down to a medium high. You don't want to turn it down too low, but you want to get it off that high heat. Of course, you know your stove, so if it cooks really hot or cooks really low, just kind of watch it. You don't want to burn them. And then especially since you've got more to go, you don't want the grease to get burnt. So once you get it the first turn, I would say turn your fire down to a medium high. I'm going to make some smothered potatoes to go with this. That's going to be diced potatoes, onion, salt and pepper, and enough grease to get the bottom, cover the bottom. Cover it, let it cook. You kind of stir it. You want it to brown, and then you cover it. But I will get to that after I get this done. Okay, so I timed it out. It was 3 minutes. I flipped, 2 minutes, flipped, 2 minutes, flipped, and then 2 minutes, I took it out. So took it out, and you can see it's cooked all the way through. It's nice and crunchy on the outside, and it's going to be nice and tender and juicy on the inside. So, see that. You're going to put it on a paper towel. You're going to let that drain, and then you're going to finish up. So I'm going to get my smothered potatoes started. I'm going to show you that real quick once I get everything in the pot, and then we're going to eat. All right, just real quick, because your grease is going to be so hot, the second batch, and if you have more, you're going to need to flip them more often, say every 2 minutes. Just kind of keep an eye on them. Again, you don't want to burn them, so you want to flip them, even if you have to flip them more often, because again, your grease is super hot at this point. So just kind of keep an eye on that. You're going to have to flip them more often, and they're going to cook a little bit faster. All right, this is going to be my smothered potatoes. I got 3 potatoes in here. You put about a small onion. You're going to sprinkle salt, pepper. I put a good bit of pepper in here. Now on the bottom, I put just enough canola oil to cover the bottom. And then I'm going to fry this. I'm going to turn this on high. And I'm going to let this, I'm going to keep stirring it because I want it to kind of brown. And once it's browned, I'm going to turn it to medium. I'm going to cover it and then kind of stir it. It's called smothered potatoes. You're not boiling them. You're not really frying them. You're just kind of half and half. So once it gets done, I'll show y'all. Okay, I've been stirring this every minute or so. As you can see, the onions are now clear. So what I'm going to do, because I did cut these potatoes up a little bit big, I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to medium, and I'm going to cover it again. I did cover it from the beginning. I just kept stirring it. So I'm going to cover it and let those keep stirring and make sure once those potatoes are nice and soft, it'll be done. Okay, so the smothered taters took a little bit longer than I planned because I didn't chop them up small enough. But to me, the key to a good smothered potato is your potatoes should have some texture to it still. It shouldn't be mashed potatoes. You could have, I should have had like more of a shallow pan to do this so that it could brown a bit more. Think of this kind of like a southern, what people call southern hash browns, where they just use the potatoes and the onions, salt, and pepper. And I don't remember if I told you, but you put salt, pepper, and garlic powder on your Venerschnitzels. And so you can see it's cooked, it's juicy. And it's crunchy. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all.